is wrong with Bitcoin? The answer is nothing. Nothing is wrong with Bitcoin. I'll answer the two questions in that question in order. The first is the question that you did not ask, which is what is wrong with the Bitcoin network, the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin monetary properties? The answer, of course, is nothing. Bitcoin is more secure, more robust, more decentralized, has better monetary properties. It's more divisible, durable, scalable, portable, fungible, authenticatable, and scarce than it's ever been in history. Bitcoin has better, stronger monetary properties than it has ever had in the history of the planet, and it's got the best monetary properties of any asset in the history of the planet, bar none. So nothing is wrong with Bitcoin. The technology, the network, it's processing billions of dollars worth of transactions. Nothing is wrong with Bitcoin, the thing. So that's the first question. The question you didn't ask was what was wrong with all those things. And you didn't ask it because there's nothing wrong with it, and Bitcoin's working just fine, and it's doing all the things it's supposed to do. The question you did ask, or that you did mean to ask, is what is wrong with the price of Bitcoin? There's got to be something wrong with it because we're down here at 91,500. What could be going on? All right, so let me answer that. So first of all, over the last number of weeks, everything's down. The stock market's down. Everything's taking a beating. People are scared. People are fearful. They're worried that the tariffs are going to catch up with us and cause havoc within the economy, that massive amounts of inflation is about to hit, causing havoc in the economy. The stock market in general is just down. So anytime you see the entire stock market, like all the stocks on average down by 1% or more, it's going to be a bloodbath in everything because everybody's running scared. When everybody's running scared, they sell everything, including stuff that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. They just sell stuff because they're scared. 1 second. The analogy I use here is it's like when a ship is sinking and they're trying to lighten the load. You may be thinking, okay, if you're trying to lighten the load, why would you throw the food overboard? Because if you throw the food overboard, you're going to starve as soon as if the ship doesn't capsize. But when everybody's panicking, they're throwing everything over the board. It doesn't matter if it's light or if it's heavy. It doesn't matter. It's just how easily can I get this thing unhinged from this ship and chunk it overboard to lighten this load? So when everybody's panicking, they sell for every reason, for no reason. People just act very irrationally when they are scared, which people are right now. Okay, so that is a major driver of the selling. A second major driver of the selling is this thing called the 4-year cycle. Now, if you've watched my videos for a while, periodically I've told you you should read the book, The Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay Boyapati. I've done entire videos on why, as soon as we started 2025, why you should read The Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay Boyapati. And the reason is it does a better job than any other book I've read of explaining what is the Bitcoin 4-year cycle and how do we know if it's in play or not. So the 4-year cycle is, historically, Bitcoin's gone up for 3 years in a row, down for 1 year, up for 3 years, down for 1 year. And it's done that pattern mostly from the beginning of Bitcoin's history. And it's related to the Bitcoin halving, which doesn't really apply as much anymore. And it's just related to human psychology and things like that. Well, because 2025 has been a muted year on the upside, me and most other people in Bitcoin as of a month ago would have said, the Bitcoin halving is not a thing. We're not going to get a huge price correction in 2026 because we did not have a huge parabolic rally, meaning a rally that looks like a parabola where it just goes like zoom, just like through the roof, like we had in 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021. We didn't have that this year, and those price corrections always happen because you get these huge price rises that are unsustainable, where the price gets significantly ahead of market adoption. And when the price is way ahead of actual underlying market adoption, it's going to come back to something more reasonable that's reflective of the actual market adoption of Bitcoin, which happened every time. And all of those were incredible buying opportunities to acquire more Bitcoin. But we have not had that. We did not have a parabolic rise in 2025. The price didn't go crazy. Yeah, we had some all-time highs, but they weren't like radically higher. We didn't get up in the 200,000s or 300,000s or anything like that. So me and most other people in Bitcoin land believed that it's unlikely that 2026 is a down year. The problem is enough people think that it might be that they're trying to front run that. So they're trying to sell Bitcoin now so that either they can buy it back in 2026 or they don't have to experience the pain of a possible 2026 downturn. So in my opinion, that's a stupid strategy. people have tried to do this a bunch of times and they screw it up almost every time. Because they always end up selling too early or too late, and then they always end up trying to rebuy too early or too late. They just screw it up almost every time. So I do not recommend that. Additionally, again, because we have not had this parabolic rise in 2025, it just doesn't seem like we're going to have a major price correction in 2026. Sure, we might go through a dip, but I don't think it's a dip. It probably doesn't last very long. It's probably not very deep. And heck, we're already in it, so maybe this is the dip. Where is the bottom of the current dip we're currently in? I don't know. Nobody knows. But probably way shallower than any of the dips we've had historically, certainly much shallower than in, 2012, 2014, 2018, 2022. Those dips they're always measured off the parabolic ultra high. So the very peak top, you end up with a relatively large percentage drop. But again, that's because it ran up so aggressively prior to that. So I don't see that sort of correction happening in 2026, which I think makes now a fantastic buying opportunity. But enough people are scared in general in the economy. Enough people are freaking out. Enough people are trying to front run the possible 4-year cycle so they don't have to experience the pain. They're going to end up, in retrospect, they're going to end up screwing it up just like everybody does in the past. They'll screw this up too. But right now they feel good because they sold their Bitcoin at 95 and now it's 91 or something like that. Or they sold it at 105. It's just dumb. People are just constantly trying to come up with games that they are certain are going to beat the market. Every time you try to beat and outsmart Bitcoin, it beats and outsmarts you. So don't play that game. All right. So what's it going to, first of all, how low could it go? James Check says the lowest it would likely ever go is somewhere between $75,000 and $85,000. Now, on one hand, you're thinking shocking. You're like, oh no, it went up to 126 and it could go as low as 75 to 85. Well, first of all, let me remind you, we went down below 74,000 in April of this year. So what is that, like 6 months ago? I mean, so anytime somebody is just completely losing their mind because they're like, oh no, I cannot believe we're going to crash that far. It's like, wait, you mean to a price we were literally 6 months ago? Like, we dipped down just below 74,000 in April of this year. You're saying it's like you're losing your mind because we might retreat back there very temporarily. And even back then, we were down there like almost no time. So who even cares? Second, 85 is barely lower than we are today. So even if there's more dip in store, it's pretty shallow compared to the pain we've already experienced. In my experience, or in my perspective and my experience, we have already experienced the majority of the pain of this bear market, if this is a bear market, because we've already dropped from 126 to 91,500. There's just not that much to go until you hit the true market mean and the ETF average purchase price, the Michael Saylor average purchase price, all of those things in the $75,000 to $85,000 range that for a bunch of reasons, it's just highly unlikely that we would go below. That's just not that much farther to drop. And, again, I think it's a fantastic buying opportunity, which is why I bought hundreds of thousands of dollars of Bitcoin at an average price of $95,000-ish over the last 3 days. Obviously, I could have waited and bought it at 91,500 right now, but nobody knew it was going to be 91,500 today. And waiting, statistically, you're going to lose. The odds are against you by more than 5 to 1 of waiting versus buying. So yeah, I could have said, hey, 80% chance I'm going to lose, 20% chance I'll win. I'll take the 20%. No, if somebody gives me 80-20 odds on the best asset in the world, I'm going to buy it. It's just that simple. Okay, so that is, Bitcoin's down because of that. I've got a question here. I'm going to try to real time it. Do you think another coin will reach what Bitcoin has? No, I would not buy any other coin. Every other coin compared to Bitcoin is trash. That does not mean none of them will be of value. But look, people were buying the Melania Trump coin, earlier this year, late last year. It's down 99%. The Trump coin's down more than 75%. Ethereum is way off its high. Solana, Dogecoin, all that stuff. No, everything else trends to zero against Bitcoin. So no, I'm not worried about other coins at all. This is purely a function of human psychology, is the human psychology such that what is the bottom? Where is the bottom? How many people are panicking? How many people have weak hands? How many people are trying to save houses, save businesses, save, avoid going bankrupt, so they're getting forced to sell their Bitcoin? How many people are leveraged, meaning they bought Bitcoin with borrowed money and they're now getting wiped out and they're getting liquidated and all of that? I mean, it's just, people do stuff like that all the time, and it just has to wash out of the market. And when it's done washing out of the marketplace is much higher. Are much more healthy and therefore can go much higher. So I would say the lowest it goes is somewhere between 75 to 85. If you want to understand the 4-year cycle, go read The Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay Boyapati. I've been recommending that people read that for years now to understand the 4-year cycle, which seems relatively relevant right now. Again, I don't even really think the 4-year cycle is in play. I just think we're getting a larger than normal dip due to bad human psychology that's happening right now, which because it's not supported by the facts, which are market adoption is really strong. I mean, everything about Bitcoin is in a good place right now. So it just doesn't make any sense that there'd be a prolonged, super deep bear market, in my opinion. But if you want to understand all of that psychology, The Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay Boyapati, it's on audiobook, it's on Amazon, you can buy it all there. Yeah, so I just don't think we have that much farther to go. If we are going to dip farther, I think it's a fantastic buying opportunity right now. I do not regret the Bitcoin I bought at $95,000 over the last 3 days. I don't regret it one bit. Statistically, I had the best possible odds for long-term success by doing exactly what I did. So look, if you bet that a coin flip's going to be a heads and you get a tails, you don't regret flipping it. There's no way to know. You had as good a possibility of getting heads as a tails, so who cares? And I had, way better odds of that. The upside of buying that additional Bitcoin made way more sense than the downside of waiting for a dip, statistically. And that's still the case for every single price point below where we are now. So I would not wait for a dip. If I had additional capital, which I don't because I spent it all over the last 3 days, if I had additional capital, I would buy additional Bitcoin right now, no matter what, regardless of the price. I would not wait for a dip. Waiting for dips is a losing proposition, statistically, economically. I just would not play that game. So I think it's that simple. I think we're most of the way into a dip as big as it's going to be. It could go lower, sure, but it might not. Nobody knows. And, my advice is the same as always. It never changes, which is buy as much Bitcoin as you can, hold on to it for as long as conceivably possible. That's the only winning strategy. And it's always been the only winning strategy. And it will be the winning strategy right now. Like, it's that simple. 100%. Bitcoin will set a new all-time high sometime in the coming months or 2026. I don't know. It'll set a new all-time high. It'll blow everybody away. Come on. Like, we've been through this so many times before. It's obvious where we go from here. It's just time. So if you have additional capital, buy more Bitcoin. It's that simple. If you have additional capital, buy more Bitcoin. If you don't, just wait it out. We're in a dip. Who cares? It's not going to go that much lower anyway. So that's my advice. Same as always. Doesn't change. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Hold on to it for as long as conceivably possible. It's the only strategy that always wins. And I'm here if you need me. If you got questions, let me know. I am a happy Bitcoin holder. And so you can text me at 601-207-0813. That again is 601-207-0813. Text me questions. You can message me on Facebook. Just make sure it's this account. It's a legitimate account. And last question somebody asked here is, I think Bitcoin will reach 125K next year. I certainly hope so. It should go way higher than 125K next year. And I don't even, it ought to be the front end of next year. I think we easy hit 200,000 next year. I mean, it's just a temporary dip. Who even cares? We have been here so many times. My advice is the same. You ride it out. You buy more if you can. It's just not that hard. So have a great day. I'm here to help. If I can help calm your nerves, if I can help make sure you're feeling good about things. If you have questions, I love answering Bitcoin questions. I love answering questions about why the market's doing what it's doing. It also gives me great material for doing videos. So if I'm not sure what to do a video on and somebody asks me a great question about why the price is doing what it's doing or the probability that it will dip or whatever, I can run all of those numbers and I can spit out a video that benefits everybody, all because somebody asked me a question. So send me questions. I love them. I'm here to help. I'm here to be your Sherpa through the dips, through the rises. Everything you need, I'm here by your side every step of the way so you don't have to freak out. And I've been here before. I know how it feels. I know how it feels at the bottom. I know how it feels at the top. I'm here to help you every step of the way. Ask me questions. Reach out. Anything I can do to help, I am here to serve. Have a great day. This dip is temporary. We'll be fine. Bitcoin's fine. All is well in Bitcoin.